And now we're going to change the oil on this 1980 Honda ATC 110. It's not necessary to take the gas tank off. It's off on this one because I was working on it. You'll notice there's a container underneath the engine to catch the oil, and I got that at Walmart, and they said when it's full they'll take it back, with no charge, so they'll dispose of the used oil, so that'll be taken care of. If you looked under the engine, you're going to see what looks like two oil drain plugs. If you, for example, tip the ATC back on its back
the
wheels,
one on the left
there would be one on the left and one on the
right.
right.
The one on the right is part of the cam chain tensioner.
The one on the left goes straight into the engine, and the one on the right goes in at an angle. So you would get a 17 millimeter wrench and take off the left drain plug and start draining the oil. Okay, then you notice that the spark plug has been removed, and according to the shop manual, they recommend that you turn the engine over a couple times with a pull starter. When you're draining it, helps pump some more of the oil out. They also recommend that you take out this dipstick, and that makes it easier for the oil to drain. And I also read in the shop manual that when you change the oil, you should also clean the oil filters. Oil filters? I didn't know it had oil filters. Now I guess I'm making a video of how to do something that I don't know how to do. Well, that never really stopped anybody else, so I'll just proceed on with the wrench in my right hand and the shop manual in the left hand. Okay, according to the shop manual, there are two filters. One is a centrifugal filter, and the other is a filter screen. And they are located behind this right hand case, so you have to take the case off to get to them. And in order to get the case off, there's a bunch of screws around the outside of it, Phillip head screws, which are easy to strip out and round off, and then you have a real problem getting them out. But there is a tool. If you don't have one of these, it'd probably be a good thing to have. It's an impact wrench, and the Phillips tips are interchangeable. You want to choose a tip that fits in your Phillips screw real tight, and this is for the ones that are hard to get out. And then you adjust it to where it's unscrewing, because it'll go either way. It'll tighten them up really tight. And then you pound it on it with a hammer, and it'll take out some really tight ones. I already used one on that parts bike I have. So I got this at Home Depot for around $20, and I'm sure you can get them a lot of other places. Well, this one here, the previous owner changed the screws, and he put in a screw with a Allen wrench head, so I probably won't have an issue taking them out, hopefully. Okay, well, let's take this side off now. Okay, I got all the screws out now. I had to take the exhaust pipe off to get to those at the bottom. There's 9 of them altogether. 2 of them were a lot longer, and one of them was a little bit shorter. The longer ones were in this position right here and over here, and the short one was right under that long one over here. Okay, it doesn't seem to want to come off real easily, so I'm going to pound it off a little bit. This is a soft hammer because I don't want to damage anything. Well, it's not budging. It sounded like something went. it's budging now. Well, let's see what's under here. I've never seen under one of these before. Something just fell out. Washer. No spring. A bunch of other parts fell out. Here are the parts that fell out. There's 3 of them. This spring that fell on the ground, a ball bearing retainer, and this lever here. It's a clutch release lever. Okay, well, we have it open now. The 2 filters that are going to be cleaned are the centrifugal filter, which is in here, and a filter screen, which is down here. So let's take a look at that filter screen. It's going to be the easiest one to get to. Okay, well, actually it doesn't look too bad. There's some oil on it. It's not that dirty. There's some gook on the bottom of it though. Okay, so we'll clean this up. It looks like it goes in either way. In fact, it probably goes in this. Probably can go in this way too. Nope, it's curved a little bit. Okay, it does have a front. The front is thinner. It doesn't appear like one side is the up or the down side though. Next is pull out this oil guide and spring. Should just be up. It just pulls out. And there's a spring in here too, a little spring this time. Okay. This cam plate assembly should just pull straight out too. And there's a bearing in there. I don't know if that'll pull out either. Yeah, there's a bearing here that pulls out too. Okay, there's 2 screws here that need to come out. This one here and this one here. And I have a feeling they're going to be really tight, so let me make sure the screwdriver has a tight fit. And it does. get it out. Alright, so now I'm going to have to use the impact wrench. And let me check this tip and make sure it's a good fit also. Yeah, there's no play there at all. Not yet. Oh, it's turning. Okay. And that one's turning. All right. So we'll get them off. It's dirty. There's a lot of sludge in there. So we want to clean that out next. This is the actual centrifugal filter, I guess. So next step will be to clean that out and then start reassembling it. Yeah, that's black. Okay, I'm cleaning out the rotor now. The shop manual calls for using cleaning solvent, but you can't really get that anymore. The shop manual is also over 30 years old. Look at that. So I'm using some mineral spirits or paint thinner. I don't know what they're using these days. I guess there's a water-based cleaner that you can use. So I'll have to find out about that. They also tell us not to put anything in this hole here because that's the oil hole for the crankshaft, and you don't want to get anything in there. Okay, I cleaned the filters up, the rotary filter, the screen, and the sludge out of the right side case. So we can start putting it back together now. I'll start with the screen, and you notice one end is a little smaller than the other, so that'll go in first. Okay, then we can put the clutch outer housing back on. two screws don't seem to be in too bad a shape. In fact, they seem like they're in really good shape, so I'm going to use them again. So I don't know where we'll get some more other ones. Cinch them down really good. Okay, I'll put this bearing in now. And the cam plate assembly will go in next. Just slides in. Okay, now the oil guide and spring. Okay, now this bearing retainer and a little spring, bigger spring actually, and the bearing retainer has goes in a certain way because this side is flat and this side has a little ridge on it that the spring goes over. Okay, and then the spring will go in first, and then this bearing retainer, and this curved side, it goes down, lines up with this. Next thing we're going to put in is the clutch release lever, and that'll hold the other parts in. This lever here. It slides over the shaft goes all the way through to the gear shift lever, so when you push the lever down or up, it depresses the clutch, so that's your automatic clutch. Now we're ready to put the right side case on. If you took the locating dowels off, you want to put them back on first. So we're going to put it on real carefully so nothing falls out, and we want to make sure it slides up snug against the center case. Don't want to force anything, put the screws in to force it down or anything. It's got to fit in there tight first. Oh, there it goes. That was pretty easy. Okay, next thing is to put those Phillip head screws back on, or you might want to consider putting some bolts on. If you do decide to put some bolts on, you want to make sure you get a good enough quality. You wouldn't want to twist the heads off next time you remove them. And the bolts are rated. For example, here's a bolt. It's a metric bolt, of course, and it has an 8.8. That's the strength rating on it. Now, I'm not saying that's the right rating for this because I don't actually know, but you would want to look into that before you put any bolts on to get the right rating. Well, when you put the screws back on, or bolts or whatever, you want to do them in a crisscross pattern, so you put it down nice and evenly and we don't warp anything. And we're just about done now. We want to put the plug in and the dipstick, fill it up, takes a quart of oil, and then run it and check for leaks. And after you run it for a while, check for leaks. It'd be a good time to adjust the clutch and also the cam chain tension. Okay, that's the end of this video.